Welcome to another weekly edition of the Best Way to Smoke News, sponsored by none other than Cali Guy. Cali Guy. Stop smoking that spit.
Fuck the drip lip.
Yeah, and this news is brought to you by Serpo Jr.
And Big J.
And Oklahoma can generate nearly $500 million in marijuana tax dollars over 5 years if voters approve legalization next month, analysis shows. So Oklahoma stands to generate nearly $500 million in revenue from adult use of marijuana sales in the first 5 years of implementation if voters approve the reform on the ballot next month. So the Yes on the 820 campaign released a report on Thursday showing that the state's projected combined tax revenue from medical and recreational marijuana sales from 2024 to 2028 at $821 million. So, and it's like, this is brought to you by the marijuana moment. If you look inside the marijuana moment, it's like these taxes. When I was reading this, and it's like before I got to like the meat of it and all that, I was like, what the fuck is you know what I'm saying, gonna do with all these taxes? But it's like they're gonna use these taxes to create more jobs. They're gonna like do a whole lot of other little things. So Oklahoma got a little something going.
Yep. Hopefully it worked that way and it gets to the people that really need that help with them tax dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Moving on. Schumer, Booker, and other senators to meet and discuss marijuana legalization, Senate sources say. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat, and several others, key Democrat senators are meeting Wednesday afternoon to discuss marijuana legislation. Two Senate sources have confirmed to Marijuana Moment advocates and stakeholders have been closely watching for the cannabis developments after efforts to pass modest reforms stalled out in the last Congress. So it's like this, man. We still waiting to see what's gonna happen with the decriminalization of weed, on the federal level. That's the big thing, and it kind of got me thinking like, why is Chuck Schumer so much trying to push for it to happen and shit though? I'm gonna kind of look into that though, because he might have a play in this shit though, man. Because he is big on making this shit happen though, man. But we gonna see where it go from here.
Hey.
Yep. Moving on.
Lawmakers want answers on California cannabis industry abuses. California lawmakers are calling for a sweeping investigation into corruption in the state's cannabis industry. Legislative hearing on the exploitation of farm workers and new laws to thwart labor trafficking in response to revelations of rampant abuse and worker deaths in a multi-billion-dollar market that has become increasingly unmanageable. The proposal followed a series of Times investigation last year showing that California's 2016 legalization of recreational cannabis spurred political corruption, explosive growth in illegal cultivation, and widespread exploitation of workers, including rampant wage theft and sometimes lethal working conditions. Now, yes, it's a big demand on like good quality buds and this, that, and the other. And if you got like big old fields and shit like that to where it's like you got workers like working, stand up. You know what I'm saying? If you be stand up about your business, you reaping the profits tremendously.
Right.
It's multi-billion-dollar industry. So it's like, that's like pennies to a giant. It's like, not to put it in that fashion, but it's like, man, if you stand firm to what you're doing, you're going to have happy workers.
Thanks.
As business grow and get better, all right, you may be able to bring those wages up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Don't like fuck them over to where it's like you working in extreme conditions. That's fucking slavery. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, it's another marijuana moment article.
Right.
It got certain deaths and stuff that's happening on these farms and all that old bullshit. To me, from Serpo Jr., just stand up. I'm telling you, you'll have a happy work group, and then you'll have happy work people growing a happy recreational medication.
Facts. Because right now they got motherfuckers on them farms trimming. They be out there trimming like
mad
trimming
like motherfuckers. So
but
look
like they picking cotton and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, that's not. You know what I'm saying?
That's not the move and shit though. But moving on. Crisis mode. Failing platforms are killing this California town's economy. Not long ago, Gerberville could have held the title of California's busiest town without a spotlight. Thousands of tourists filled this small town restaurants and bar after spending the day craning their necks at the towering redwoods trees of the nearby Avenue of the Giants. The hundreds of cannabis farms in the surrounding hills of Humboldt County brought millions of dollars to the local economy. But today the town is on life support. And shit, they was like the motherfucking founders, like I ain't gonna say the founders, but they was like in front of everything. You know, everybody was talking about Humboldt, want to get some shit from Humboldt though. But the town is on life support. California cannabis legalization has killed many of those pot farms, leaving empty storefronts and cratered Gerberville economy in its wake. Overproduction has dropped the wholesale price of cannabis in California by as much as 95%. That's a lot. That's made pot cheaper for consumers, but it's also made it impossible for many farms to stay alive. And, you know, we talk about that shit all the time. You know, all these farms that can't keep up, you know, that you know, it's too much weed. They can't get the shit sold, so they sitting on the shit though. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of these motherfuckers is going out of business, man.
Yeah. Look, real quick though, one thing that I do know about like some of these forums up here is like that may not be all the way broadcast, but it's like due to some of the like the illegal ones that's going on.
Yeah.
Some of the legit ones fall victim to like some of the sheriffs and shit around that town that's trying to regulate it. Like go through, get a fucking mower and just like mow through and fuck the soil up, fuck the plants up and all that. So it's like they got to start back from scratch. Some of them get discouraged. Some of them just be like, man, forget it. You know, and that can be some of the like going downhill type
like the
shit.
homegirl pulled out.
Yep. Get up out of there.
Yep. Moving on.
This by the Daily Bulletin. Clearmont sets cannabis tax rate despite ban on retailers. City could collect up to $700,000 a year if allowed legal marijuana sales in town. If allowed. Okay. Cannabis businesses still aren't allowed in Clearmont, but should that day arrive, the city is ready to tax them. The city council recently adopted tax rates for cannabis businesses after Clearmont voters in November overwhelmingly favored Measure CT, which created a regulatory framework for the city should it decide to allow retail marijuana and other commercial cannabis businesses in town. A discussion about how and where such businesses could operate is expected to come before the city council in the next few months, officials previously said. Recent estimates suggest that the city could generate $140,000 to $170,000 per year from the taxation of cannabis businesses delivering to address within the city. Now, and it's like in Clearmont, it's like bottom line. It's not legal out there. It's not being taxed right now, and it's not even there. But just so happen, if you started, we got to tax thing. You know what I'm saying? We finna tax that ass. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, if it's finna be used to maybe better the schooling, better the community around there, however you feel fit for your community, okay, cool. Right. But if you just taxing this shit just because it's like you trying to have or participate in some war on cannabis, I ain't gonna say war on drugs because I don't look at it as a drug. Right. So if you're trying to come with that war on cannabis type shit, that gives you that, I ain't gonna say you, it gives me that type of, you know what I'm saying, thought. Impressive. But, you know what I'm saying, if you come out and it's to better your community all the way around, I retract those words. But as of right now, that shit seemed like something.
Because they ready, they ready. Yeah. You know, like we talk about all the time and shit though, with like a lot of these other big businesses that's already making money off this shit, even though it's not federally decriminalized, man. You know what I mean?
That's the best way to smoke weekly news with Serpo Jr.
Big J.
Baby.
Yes.